Okay, like I was saying in part 1 of this lesson, we can do this problem in a different way, just like we've done the previous problems in this lesson in other ways. Now, first off, I do need to make sure to copy down the problem correctly, but we can think of this as just a division problem. 3/4 divided by 6/7. So then we do 3/4 actually times the reciprocal, 7, 6. 3 times 7 is 21, 4 times 6 is 24. We can reduce by 3. And we also get 7/8, just thinking about it in a different way. And then the last method that you can use, which like I said is probably most common among students and is the way that I'll continue the rest of this lesson, is to use that double rainbow trick. 3 times 7, 21, 4 times 6, 24. We are doing what's in blue, we're just doing it in a quick way. 21 24 also reduces to 7/8, so you can solve the problem that way as well. All right, let's try some examples. Okay, so for each one we need to determine if it's true or false, so we can just use our double rainbow trick if we want to stick with that to solve each problem. Now, notice that in every problem the units are matching. That's good, and we do want to be aware of that whenever we solve problems. So we can do 2 times 5 is 10, 3 times 1 is 3, 10/3, so yeah, this would be true. If you think you're getting the hang of this, pause the video and try them out on your own, and then play the video to see if you did it correctly. 4 times 7 is 28, 5 times 6 is 30. Now don't forget to reduce. 28 divided by 2 is 14, and 30 divided by 2 is 15. So again, this is true. 4 times 9, 36. 3 times 8, 24. Reduce. We can reduce by 4. 9/6. We can also reduce by 3. We get 3/2. That is not the same thing as 2/3. So this one will be false. Okay. All right, now surely you're getting the hang of this. Pause the video, do it yourself, and see if you can do it by yourself and get it correct. 3 times 10, 4 times 9. Always make sure to reduce, especially because the directions are telling us to. Oh, I guess 6 maybe would be a better choice. If I could write 5 to 6. All right, last part.
Okay, blimp 1 is in position.
Okay, we are cutting to your shot in 3, 2, 1. Great shot, blimp 1. Picture perfect.
We aim to please.
A professional football field is 53 1/3 yards wide. Find the ratio of the width of the actual field to the width of the field in the poster as a fraction in simplest form. So the actual field to the field in the poster. The actual field to the field in the poster. Now, you might be noticing something different about this problem compared to the ones we've been doing. Here we're trying to do a ratio, that's a comparison of two numbers, but we're trying to compare them and we have different units. We have to fix that because we just can't compare numbers that aren't using the same units. It's just not fair, it just doesn't work. All right, we do need to think about feet and yards, how they're related. Well, 3 feet make 1 yard. Now, I had said before in a previous lesson that it tends to be easier to change all your units to the smaller unit rather than the larger. Feet are smaller than yards, so let's make everything in terms of feet. Now, the poster's measurement is already in feet, but the measurement of the actual football field is in yards. So since you get 3 feet for every yard, you would want to take this times 3. Now you have a mixed number here. You might want to think about it in parts. Let's just do 53 times 3. That would be 159. And then we have a third of a yard. A third of a yard. 3 feet are in 1 yard. If you think about it, that just makes 1 extra foot. This 1/3 times 3, if you work it out, is just 1. So if we are doing 53 1/3 times 3, we're getting 159 with 1 extra, that's 160 feet. All right, so we now have the same units and we can really just compare the numbers. 160 compared to 1.5. Well, again, we have that fraction in there and we don't want it. We just want to have 2 nice whole numbers that we're comparing. So we can use our double rainbow trick like I've been referring to throughout this lesson by doing the 160 with a denominator and by writing this 1.5 as an improper fraction. That's the way we're still going to be able to do our trick. Because even whenever you do division and you have to multiply by the reciprocal, if you have mixed numbers involved, you have to make them improper to do the math, and then you can change them back when you're done. So 1 times 2 plus 1. Hopefully you're still familiar with doing mixed numbers improper. Makes 3 halves. So to do this, we do 160 times 2. So that'd be 320. And 1 times 3. Okay, we want to reduce this if we can, but I just don't see it happening. We can only divide the denominator by 3 and we can't divide the numerator by 3, so we are in simplest form and we have our answer. Okay, so probably you've noticed that things are getting a little tougher. We have fractions inside of our ratios and we have varying units. The units have to be the same in a ratio, and we want to get the ratio looking nice. We want to really just be looking at 2 whole numbers, a numerator and a denominator. Okay, if you're feeling confident, go ahead and try this out. See how far you get. Pause the video and you can always play it if you get stuck. Okay, so this one says that we want to do the ratio of the width of the model boat to the width of the actual boat. So the model boat to the actual. Okay, again, we have those differing units and we're trying to find a ratio, and ratios need those same units. So let's think about how inches and feet are comparing. We know that 12 inches makes 1 foot. I mentioned before that it's easier to change all of your units into the smaller ones. Inches are smaller than feet, so let's make everything be in terms of inches. Okay, we have 12.5 feet, and we want to know how many inches that makes. You can probably just think about this and figure it out, but I like to just kind of work it out in my head here. If I've got 12 whole feet, I can times that by 12 and know that there's 144 inches. But I can't forget about that half. Half of a foot, we can really just think about it, would be 6 inches. So we have 144 inches for the big 12. We have 6 inches for that half. So that makes 150 inches altogether. So now we have the same units. Now next we will want to get rid of this fraction. Remember that there's a variety of ways to do that, but I'm just sticking to this way of using this double rainbow idea. So for my 6 1/4, I do need that to be improper to do my trick. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25/4. I need to give my 150 a denominator, so I can just use 1. All right, 25 times 1 is 25, and 150 times 4 would be what? 600. Now I just can't forget to reduce, especially because my problem is asking for simplest form. It's probably always a good idea to go back and look at a word problems question to make sure you're answering it and following all parts of the directions. So we could reduce by 25. That's the greatest thing we can reduce by. And then we would get 1 compared to 24. This is a great comparison of numbers compared to when we started. 6 1/4 inches, 12 1/2 feet. This also just indicates to us an idea of the size of the boat. We're going from a model boat to actual boat. The model boat was first or on top. The actual boat was on bottom. So the model boat is 1. The actual boat's 24. So that's indicating to us that it's 24 times bigger than the model. All right, that's it for this lesson. I'll see you next time.